CJ, getting nearly into camp here, just how do you kind of evaluate how it's gone so far?
I think it's going really well. I think we're leaps and bounds, kind of ahead of where we were last year, especially as an offense, just because we've been in the system for a year plus now, and we have that kind of connection as receivers, and the O-line knows what they're doing with Coach Grimes. The quarterback and the running backs have their mesh points. So, yeah, it's going really well, and we're pleasantly pleased as where we are right now.
How's Jeremy doing when he's in there at quarterback?
He's doing great. I mean, as I've said before, I think that he could start anywhere else in the SEC as a quarterback this year, and that's no disrespect to any other SEC teams. That's just how we feel about him. We feel that he's a great quarterback, and when he's in there, he's making great reads and he's completing passes. So we have all the confidence in the world in him, and yeah, he's doing exceptionally well.
How's his confidence?
It's great. I think last year as a freshman, he was kind of on edge. He'd make really good throws, and then sometimes he'd be a little bit errant with the ball, especially with Malzahn out there. That kind of makes everyone uneasy. But I think this year his confidence has grown because he knows that we trust him. He knows that where we're going to be, and we know that he's going to put the ball where it needs to be. So I think that the connection with the receivers, he knows the line will protect for him, and all that has boosted his confidence tremendously.
Red has said he wants to see more of a leadership, part from Jeremy. Can you give an example of maybe how he's progressed in that?
I think last year, because as I just mentioned, he was a freshman, so he was he was passive for sure, and he'll even say that. But I think this year, Coach Lashley wants him to be more vocal. And I think at times he's shown that. Obviously this is camp. Every day is not going to be perfect. Some days we're going to get out there and we're going to drag a little bit. We'll still execute, but the energy won't be there. And obviously, as seniors, we'll try to encourage a bunch of people, but at the same time, we expect some of the underclassmen that we expect big things from to say stuff. And him and Marcus Davis, especially those two, they start chirping a little bit. They say, we got to pick it up. If there's a drop ball, Jeremy, he'll say that's on me. Let's go. Let's do it again. Let's run the same play again. Or let's make sure that we're clicking. So I think things like that have shown his growth and maturity.
Has he yelled at you yet?
No, he hasn't yelled at me. No, he hasn't yelled at me yet.
Does that mean you haven't dropped a pass?
Yeah, that's because I'm just that perfect tall. It's that height connection. Anybody over 6'6", it's just we have that connection.
Talk about Nick from that same standpoint, the leadership role for him. Obviously, after the tough summer, how has he been in the preseason?
I think he's been tremendous. He said that he'd get back on track. That's what he told the team, and that's what he's done. He hasn't missed a beat with anything that we've been doing. I think, honestly, aside from Reese, who obviously is a 4-year starter in this league, so he's a huge leader on our team, but I think that Nick has been just right next to him, leading the team, saying we need to bounce around. Coach asked after practice if we need an extra pace period, which is, that's the worst thing, and he said, yeah, we need another pace period, let's do 2. And we were like, Nick, what are you doing? But yeah, that just shows. That shows his drive, his willingness to win, and as much as we dreaded it, we needed it, and that's kind of what he said. He said, we gotta be pumped up about this. That's the pace is what our edge is. That's what we thrive on. That's what our MO is. So I think as far as a leadership standpoint, he's exactly where we want him to be.
Was he like that at all last August? Was he pretty quiet at that point?
I think so. I think he was trying to really just understand the offense a lot. Because you look at our offense, and a lot of people kind of say, outside looking in, like, yeah, it's not too complicated. There's not that many personnel sets, but it's extremely hard to play quarterback, especially with all the moving parts that we have going on. So I think that his vocal leadership wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Did he say that at today's practice? Was that yesterday?
Oh, it was yesterday. Yeah.
How much has he gotten a lot better even since the end of last season? Do you think?
Oh, 100%. We've been throwing. He texts everyone. He has that a group message where it's just he'll text all the receivers, all the running backs, and he'll be like, "We need to get out there and throw." And there's no question. There's no, I have this or that. Unless it's school. No, it's like, all right, we're out there and we're throwing, and he wants to perfect it, and Jeremy's out there, and Sean was out there, and so yeah, in terms of he grew a lot last year, and it's just him taking another step, and yeah, he's done that.
The coaches have talked about him hitting 65 5 and 70% of his passes. Just based off what you see in him learning everything and being comfortable, do you feel like that's a realistic goal for him, and do you think he's going to hit it?
Yeah, I think so for sure. You know, we pride ourselves on pass efficiency. That's what Coach kind of, we had a, you know, an offensive meeting, and he talked about how that's something that he really wanted to focus on. I think that's, I mean, that's definitely an accomplishable goal. Just because, you know, he knows the reads, he knows in what particular coverages where to go with the ball, and it's just a matter of the receivers making the plays and him putting it on the money, and he has so far. So our confidence in him in doing that is pretty high.
How much did you enjoy the media day circus?
It was fun for me. I love being on camera. I love talking. So, I mean, there were a lot of moving parts. There were a lot of people. I don't know. There were a lot of people in general, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Since Gage got knocked out, have you been doing more work at H-back? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. And, you know, we know that we have a lot of people that need to step up because of it, because, you know, we thought that he would definitely play a vital part in our offense. And myself, we have some new guys coming in. We have Patrick Young, Jaquel, we have Sitzler and Hunter Wood that, you know, have stepped up for that 3-back specifically spot. So, yeah, I have been playing a little bit more 3-back.
What's your take on how Jaquel's development? He seems kind of one of those guys like yourself that can be athletic and go out and get passes, but also possibly run the ball.
Yeah, I think he needs to put on a little bit more weight, but in terms of the physicality, I mean, that kid gets after it. I mean, he said today that he weighed like 212 or whatever, but when we get in those hookup drills with the defensive line, you honestly can't tell. I mean, there are times where his technique is flawed. I mean, he's a freshman, which is understandable, but that kid gets after it. I mean, he's one of the hardest hitter. I mean, he's just a hard worker, and no matter who they line him up against, he's not scared. So he's fearless, and you know, we kind of love that about him.
Is your favorite route still that little wheel type route we see from you?
Yeah, definitely. That's you know, we've been doing that a little bit, but yeah, that's probably definitely my favorite route.
Is that still you and Nick's thing, or you feel more comfortable in certain spots of the field?
Certain spots of the field, not really. I think, you know, we've run that route a good bit. When I say a good bit, I'd say 250 times plus this summer. So, yeah, I mean, we feel comfortable with that, though. We've thrown a lot of other routes as well, but we pretty much feel comfortable throwing that any area of the field.
Receiver-wise, are you working at the split 5, working at the 9? Where you kind of spending time?
Kind of same as last year, kind of just moving me around wherever they put me in, you know, trying to do my best to help the team.
What young guys have you talked about, Jaquel? Anybody, those young groups, offense or defense, that have kind of jumped out to you?
Yeah, there are a few people. First is Braden. That kid is a complete monster. We have those hookup drills where we do, you know, those 2-on-1, whatever. And I mean, that kid, I mean, his fundamentals, if you ask Coach Grimes, he's like, oh, well, he has a lot of fundamental things to work on, but even fundamentally, if he doesn't do right, I mean, he benches like 515 a few times, and I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter, they're not going to move you. So, yeah, he's impressed me a lot. Rob Thomas in that last scrimmage, I mean, he can run the ball. He doesn't like going down. So those two especially have impressed me a lot.
How much have you and Brandon kind of been working together in the same play? Like, you know, you at tight end, maybe him at H-back, or has it been separated?
Yeah, it's been a combination of the two. And we'll have certain periods where that's all we work on. We'll have, you know, 3 or 4 periods in practice where it's just us in the game, and you know, we're just, you know, trying things out. So yeah, I kind of like that. When we're both in the game, it's kind of like, well, we don't really know what they're going to do. So yeah, we've done that a few times.
Gabe was just saying that since you guys got back to fall camp, that the seniors, I don't know if it was much just yourselves or to the whole team, but really addressed some of the off-the-field issues. Just what exactly was said? What was that meeting like?
We're pretty much just saying that, you know, the seniors need to be, you know, an example for the younger guys, so that, you know, it won't be, you know, a recurring thing. We kind of nipped it in the bud really by saying, you know, it's not going to happen again. We need to focus on the season, and you know, we just need to focus on football, and you know, that's kind of where our heads have been, and I think we've, you know, kind of established that whole thing is behind us.
You guys ready to get into game preparation now? You guys itching for it?
Yes, we're kind of. I mean, we're ready for the season. We've been hitting each other for too long now, in our opinions, in our minds. So we're definitely ready to start. I mean, we've been looking at film already individually, but we're definitely ready to start scheming for Arkansas.
How different is it going into the season as a top 5 team as compared to last year?
You know, personally, it's not too different. You know, we feel that last season's behind us. You know, that was. I mean, obviously we have a lot of the guys coming back, but that's a different team, and this is a different team this year, and we have a lot to prove. You know, so as far as that's concerned, I don't think that, you know, going in ranked top 5 is gonna, you know, sway how we prepare or how we go into a game at all.
When did y'all have that?
What is it? Excuse me.
Gabe was talking about like the seniors come together. When did y'all have that?
I think it was, you know, the beginning of camp. We kind of just said, you know, there's no one on campus, you know, so you know, there are times where, you know, you get bored and you want to do stuff, and we say no. You know, we're gonna be accountable for each other, and you know, that's what we've done. You know, we have an 11 o'clock curfew. We're all in our rooms, and to be completely honest, I don't know about everyone else, but I am in my bed way before that, watching Netflix and passing out, because, you know, the camp grind is entirely too tolling on someone's body. So we kind of said no one's going to get into any trouble. Even on our off days, we're going to hang out together. We're going to play FIFA, you know, as much as possible, and just hang out and relax and not get into any trouble.
CJ, can you talk about how the offense has changed since the start of practice, and what you guys need to do to get ready to play Arkansas?
Yeah, it's changed in the sense of we haven't perfected the little things, but we've taken that step in perfecting the little things. You know, we came in this spring or this fall camp, and we kind of knew the offense, obviously, and we knew what we expected of ourselves, but we were a little rusty. So we came in, and, you know, the coaches trained us hard, and, you know, we needed it. And I think the little things are what we've been fine-tuning, and we've done a great job in doing that.
TJ, what are your personal expectations for yourself this season?
I don't have too many. Honestly, it's just helping the team any way I can. And if that's blocking every play for anybody, then I'll do it. And if it's catching a game-winning touchdown against Mississippi State, I'll do it. So that's pretty much my goal, is to help the team any way I can.
Question in the back. How do you think this summer's World Cup will impact English progression this upcoming season?
Now listen, the World Cup was, I mean, I enjoyed it, you know, obviously. So the German side, which won, you know, there was a German player that plays on Chelsea. So I think that Chelsea will win the entire thing because, I mean, I'm not going to be biased and say Chelsea isn't my team, even though they are, but, you know, that's just how it works.